all debt bad? Not exactly, but here's the problem. Most people are using debt in such a way that it is wrecking their finances. We live in a culture that says, just finance it, just put it on a card, payments for everything. Cars, phones, vacations, all of it. So in this video, we are going to break down the difference between good debt and bad debt so that you are able to borrow with your eyes wide open and with wisdom rather than with regret. I'm Sarah, I'm a certified financial educator, and this channel is called It's All His because I believe it's all God's money. He gives us some of it to store, and our job is to do that for His glory. If you would like to talk more about money management, getting out of debt, living on a budget, all from a biblical worldview, please consider subscribing for new videos every week. Proverbs 22:7 is probably one of the most famous Bible verses that comes up when people talk about finances and debt, particularly where it says the borrower is slave to the lender. It's actually pretty sobering because it reminds us that debt is not just a financial issue, it's a freedom issue. The Bible never actually flat out bans debt or says that it's a sin. I actually made a video about that, which I will link up here. But it does warn us quite often about the dangers of being enslaved in debt, which means that whenever we're considering being in any kind of debt, we need to be careful and prayerful and wise. If you've watched any of my other videos, you've probably heard me talk about how I hate debt, but I do believe that some debt can be, quote, good because it has a bigger purpose in your financial future. So let's talk about what would define good debt, because it's not black and white. There's a lot of nuance to this definition. Good debt is strategic. It is borrowing that oftentimes is going to build value. So when I say that, I think of a mortgage. Most of the time, you're going to have a house go up in value. It will be an appreciating asset. So if you take out a wise mortgage on a home, because the majority of people can't afford to just pay cash for a home, that would be an investment long-term in something that is going up. You've got to pay for housing anyway. And oftentimes, if you get a good interest rate and you're wise about the amount of money that you borrow, you might even be paying quite a bit less for that mortgage than you would be if you had to rent elsewhere. Obviously, all circumstances weigh in differently. It depends on the part of the country that you live in. It depends on your income, when you bought your house, all kinds of things like that. Good debt would come with lower interest rate. Things like mortgages, some types of loans that you can get, like student loans or small business loans, will usually have lower rates than your consumer debt credit cards. A good debt won't overextend your monthly budget. You can get a mortgage that isn't a good debt if it is strapping you monthly. Any good debt you might borrow should also come with a realistic payoff plan. You should be thinking about how you can get out of that debt as quickly as makes the best financial sense. And that, again, these things are going to vary depending on different circumstances. So what are some examples of some of these good debts? I feel weird saying good debts. I hate debt so much. So it feels weird to call debt good, but you get the drift. A modest mortgage that you can actually afford. This could be a good debt. The interest rate's going to be low. Like I said, you have to pay for housing anyway, and that asset is hopefully going up in value. But a mortgage could also be a bad debt if you overextend yourself and you are house poor and you make a payment that is so high that you're not able to get ahead financially in other aspects of your life. Don't go with the max that a lender tells you you can afford. It is in their best interest for you to borrow that much. A good rule of thumb is to have your mortgage payment, including everything, your taxes, your insurance, any PMI, all of it, should be 28% of your gross monthly income or less. Owning a home comes with all kinds of extra expenses and responsibilities. You do not want all your money every month going out just to that mortgage. You want to have a little bit of breathing room for sure if you're going to be a homeowner. Another type of good debt could be student loans taken out wisely and minimally. By that, I mean pay for the education, don't pay for the extras. Don't finance with student loans the meal plan and the fancy dorm room. Go to a cheaper school, commute if you can, get roommates off campus where it'll probably be cheaper to do so. Whatever that looks like for you. If you need to take out a couple thousand here and a couple thousand there just to get that education, student loan debt could be a wise investment in your future. But also, I caution you, think about what you're investing that debt in. What kind of a degree, what kind of job prospects do you have? You want to make sure you're going to be able to pay off that debt. A small business loan could also be an example of some wise debt. It's an investment in something that will hopefully be a thriving business that produces income for you over time. Even with these good debts, wisdom is still key. Make sure that you have a plan to pay them off. You're taking out the minimal amount at the lowest interest rates, and you're not doing it for the wrong reasons. Chasing status, loving money, or fearing man. Because if you are, those good debts quickly turn into bad debts. And let's talk now about what I would define as bad debts. Basically, it's everything else that I haven't mentioned. Bad debt is usually going to have a higher interest rate. Think credit cards and even some auto loans. Bad debt is going to be spent on things that lose their value quickly. Like when you drive that new car off the lot and it drops in value like right away. And bad debt is going to be used to fund a lifestyle that you actually can't afford, which is why you need to use the debt to buy the stuff. Examples of this would be using credit cards to pay for everything that, puts off who you say you are to the world, the clothes you wear, the gadgets you own, the vacations that you take. Car payments that tie up hundreds of dollars every single month on a depreciating asset. Buying now and paying later on everything because it's an option on everything these days. Avoid that. You don't want to just be able to afford the payments. That is not a good gauge on if you should borrow money. Bad debt keeps you financially stuck. It keeps you stressed, keeps you from getting ahead, and it keeps you from being a wise steward of the money that you've been given to manage. Because at the end of the day, debt, it's not just about the numbers. It's about the lifestyle that you're looking to lead and who you're choosing to elevate with your money. Is it yourself or is it God? Are you trying to look rich to the world? Or are you actually trying to build wealth with kingdom purposes and be financially free? Are you owning your money decisions, letting God help you and guide you and looking to be wise? Or are you letting sin and culture and influencers drive those decisions? As believers, we are called to steward and manage our resources, not be enslaved by them. And debt is often enslaving. So let me give you 4 questions you can ask yourself before you buy anything with debt. Question number 1, do I need this or do I just want it? Is someone making me feel like I need this? Am I being influenced? That's 3 questions, but it's kind of all in one. Ask yourself, be honest with yourself. What's prompting me to want to make this purchase? The second question you would ask yourself is there another way I can pay for this without going into debt? If I need this thing, is there a cheaper version that will do just fine, that I have the money to pay for, that I can save up for? Is debt my only option? Sometimes that alone can help you really decide how important that purchase is, and if it needs to happen now or if it can happen down the road. Is this item I'm going into debt for going to create long-term value? Is it some kind of investment? Is it going to add to my net worth overall? Or is it going to take away from that? That's an important one to consider before you make any purchases. And the last question is, do I have a plan to pay this off quickly? If I'm looking at this and thinking I'm just gonna make the minimum payments forever, that might be a sign that taking out that debt isn't the wisest thing to do. And I wanna encourage you this week, take 10 minutes and just list every debt you currently have and ask yourself, are these debts helping me? Is there value being produced, or is this hurting my financial bottom line? And as you look at those debts, think, is there one here that isn't helping me that I can start tackling, that I can work on having that plan to start paying it off faster, even if it's just a little extra thrown at that principal every month? You'll be surprised how quickly that can add up over time. And if you're not sure how to get started tackling those debts, check out this video next, and I will see you over there. Thanks for watching.